This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. The leadership of the Bahamas Union of Teachers remains in limbo as the embattled president has been placed on another suspension. Tonight, a union executive is addressing the issue. Area Vice President for the Bahamas Union of Teachers, Quinton LaRota, speaking out about the latest developments taking place during the recent annual general meeting, which has left President Belinda Wilson on an indefinite suspension.
The suspension that the executive committee put on Belinda Wilson for spending the pension money without the proper authority was enforced. The AGM supported the executive committee in that overwhelmingly, and the AGM also applied a new suspension pending an investigation into a forensics audit and a police matter. And so she went into the AGM facing one suspension and left with two. The suspension that the AGM placed on the president, the treasurer, and now the trustee is related to some suspicious activities with respect to the Grand Bahama building.
The union executive also taking exception to remarks made by Wilson, stating that union officials are being influenced by politicians.
I also resent greatly the implication that we were perhaps motivated, or some of us may have been motivated by some political agenda. It's totally wrong and totally false. It again shows a leader who does not find the wherewithal to admit or to accept the punishment for the wrong that's obvious.
In the midst of the leadership battle, LaRota says operations within the BUT have improved.
We were able to negotiate a contract that I don't think if she was there at the time, we would be able to get as much as we did get. We mended some relationships, we opened some doors that were once closed, even with vendors in the community who would have supplied BUT with stuff. The abrasiveness of her personality had offended quite a number of people, and we were able to present a new face to the BUT, a new image, and we were able to work hand in hand with people to get certain things done.
The Grand Bahama Shipyard wrapping up repairs on a drilling ship 10 days ahead of schedule. Grand Bahama Shipyard was awarded the contract in January of 2014 to lift a blowout preventer stack onto that ship, the Stena Forth. It led to negotiations regarding the possibility of performing the rig's 5-year classification renewal program here on Grand Bahama. Senior Vice President Graham Cowser noted that they are delighted with the outcome and that the success of this project is essential to the development of this market segment for the year. Activities in observance of the country's 42nd anniversary of independence are winding down. A host of events taking place in the Northern Bahamas, among them an ecumenical service in Grand Key Abaco. Ricardo Lightbourne was there.
The residents of Grand Key gathered at the school and braved the hot conditions to celebrate the Bahamas' 42nd independence. While the residents were waiting, the Combined Forces Band, Administrator Colebrook, Assistant Superintendent Hamilton, and other government officials stranded at sea and awaiting help. Once on shore, Shane Saunders served as the master ceremony for the independence service. Deacon Flavored Saunders brought the invocation. Jerlene Brown with the welcome to Grand Key Abaco. The Gospel Moonlighters led the praise and worship and the blessing for the Bahamas. Young Kayla Mimi also read the Prime Minister's independence message. Arnett Johnson read the message from the Governor General. Chief Constable for Grand Key, Roosevelt Curry, thanked the people of Grand Key for their support and hospitality extended to the visitors.
The council here, the Independence Committee, we got to give them a round of applause because they did a marvelous job. And those who have traveled here, we want them to see that we do things in Grand Key, in grand style.
Administrator for North Abaco, Wilma Colebrook, said our children are our future and also encouraged residents of Grand Key to push for unity, protect the children, and as we stand as one people united in love and service.
On this occasion, let us continue to thank God for the milestones He has allowed us to reach. This is also a great time for all of us as a community and nation to reflect on our country's national anthem and adopt the heartfelt lyrics in our personal way. As we continue to be people of wholeness and unity, joining together as one, marching forward, focusing on our children and our future.
The combined band, Royal Bahamas Police Force, Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and the Bahamas prison officers wowed the crowd with their procession and array of music. Stranded at Sea had no effect on the officers as they celebrated the nation as one people. The raising of the flag in Grand Key was a display of pride, honor, and appreciation of the land we call our home, the Bahamas. The national anthem, March on Bahama Land, as the residents of Grand Key lifted their heads to the rising sun. As we celebrate 40 years of independence, the future of our country is in the hands of these young men, those here in Grand Key. I can say this much. The folks here in Grand Key have taken this seriously. This is their home. Their future looks bright. In Grand Key, Abaco, Ricardo Aibon, ZNS Network News.
Now, events in honor of independence wrapped up on Grand Bahama last night with a gospel concert at the Community at Heart Tabernacle on Coral Road. In other news, this past Independence Day holiday is one a local family will not soon forget as fire destroyed their home, leaving them with only the clothes on their backs. Tonight, an appeal is going out for help as the family attempts to rebuild their lives. Joan Davis-Roll reports.
Might say total devastation while in there for about every.
It is an emotional time for the Lockhart family in the aftermath of a fire which swept through the 5-bedroom home in North Bahama on Independence Day. The blaze leaving the 8-member family with only the clothes on their backs. Gregory Lockhart, the single father and grandfather, fought back tears as he is thankful to God that there was no loss of life. He recounted the ordeal.
Step out the house for a few minutes, 15 minutes maybe, quite sure it was less than 20. Got a call from a neighbor, come back home, your house on fire. Rush back home, the neighbor say he come in the yard, get the water hose, try to do it, but the fire was too consuming. He couldn't fight it with the hose and the small pressure on it. Short while later, fire truck arrived. With God's grace, I guess, the silver lining was my family safe. Material things could be replaced, but I have all my family safe with health and strength. That's my blessing in the whole thing.
The fire comes as his family was just getting back on their feet. Out of the family of 8, only 2 are employed. His daughter Gwen recently found employment just weeks ago, and sadly her check was destroyed in the blaze. She said rebuilding will no doubt be a challenge.
Everybody this way, that way, just because we need a place to stay. I just want the community, whatever is done from the community is appreciated. If they bring a gallon of water, that's appreciated. Anything right now.
In the wake of this devastation, officials of a leading government agency is calling on the Grand Bahama community for help. Deputy Director of Urban Renewal on Grand Bahama, Michelle Reckley, says their hearts go out to the fire victims. She's hoping that the plight of the Lockhart family will touch the hearts of those in a position to help.
We are asking the Grand Bahama community and corporate Grand Bahama to come on board with us to be able to build this family life back together so they can be a part of each other again. So however you can give whatever little donation, if it's in building supplies, we even asking the churches to come on board and to lend a hand because, you know, as the saying say, whatever you do to the least of my brothers, that you do unto me. So we are just seeking assistance from whomever we can to help this family build their life back together.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. The Northern Edition will continue in a moment.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. A local outreach ministry whose mission it is to positively impact the lives of young people is in dire straits, and the future of that organization could be in jeopardy. Joan Davis-Roll has the details.
A youth organization which deals with youngsters in crisis is now in crisis. For years, Reach Out Ministry, located on Banyan Lane, Freeport, has helped countless youngsters in crisis. But now president of that organization, Dudley Sade, says that program is facing its darkest hour.
This has been one of the most challenging years for Reach Out Youth Organization. We give so much to this wider community. Our feeding program right now is closed almost. Have so much families who depend on us, and we might have to almost close our doors. It's been a challenge uh, because if corporate Grand Bahama don't give us a reach out youth organization, I won't be able to help the community.
Said says despite Reach Out's success in turning the lives of many troubled youths around, their best efforts have not attracted the sustainable support of the community.
I send so much letters out to corporate Grand Bahama, repeatedly. I need help. I think when people saw the building project, I think for some reason they thought it was a magic wand. I need Grand Bahama to help me. Uh, we're about 85% completed, but all the funding we have went into the building.
A number one supporter of Reach Out Ministry, Terry Goldsmith, says it is time for Grand Bahama and indeed the Bahamas to put up or shut up.
How many carpenters, how many plumbers, how many electricians do you have in these churches? If they would all come down here, right, on one day or 2 days a month or just one afternoon a month and do what needs to be done. If everybody in every single church, in every house was to put up one single dollar, I don't care how poor you are, right? We have no problem. Eh? But you can't complain about the young people in this country if you don't do something about it yourself. Instead of sucking your teeth while you're watching the television and talk about it wasn't like this in my day. Well, it was, right? But we didn't have the communications then. So I challenge the churches, the Christian Council, all the churches, all the members of all churches, and whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Rastafari, whether you're an atheist or an agnostic, right? Get out here, contact Dudley Said, his number's in the book, or you can contact me, there's only one Goldsmith in the book, right? And say, I'm coming out there on a certain time, at a certain place, with so much money or with so much skill to help to keep these young people on the straight and narrow.
Joan Davis Roll, ZNS Network News.
More than 700 youngsters from throughout Grand Bahama will spend the next 4 weeks participating in a summer camp sponsored by the Royal Bahamas Police Force. The opening ceremony was held this morning at Freeport Bible Church here in Freeport. Senior Assistant Commissioner of Police Emmerich Seymour says they consider it a privilege to be able to shape the lives of the country's future leaders.
What we're doing is duplicating this across the entire northern Bahamas. That is Abaco, Bimini, and of course Grand Bahama. And so you'll find in this particular year camp, which would be 4 weeks, commencing today, we'll be having 8 camps across the entire northern Bahamas. 5 in Grand Bahama, 1 in Eastern, 2 down in 8 Mile, 2 down in Freeport area at the Jack Haywood and the Edward St. George School, respectively, and then of course 1 in 8 Mile Walk at the Martin Town Primary School, and then at the Mart and the West End All Age School. 2 in Abaco, and then of course 1 in Bimini. And as I indicated, they'll be running for 4 weeks, where we seek to positively influence and of course keep these young people engaged and for the summer holiday.
Minister for Grand Bahama Dr. Michael Darville giving some advice to the young participants, telling the students to take advantage of this great opportunity.
We are able to teach hundreds of young people in life skills, decision making, anger management, conflict resolution, and the importance of self-respect and the respect for others. I want to say that again. Self-respect and the respect for others. To respect others, you must first be able to respect yourself. And we must ensure that during this camp, we take the opportunity to ensure that all participants of this camp learn the art of self-respect.
This year's camp is taking place under the theme, Positively Engaging Our Youth Today for a Brighter Tomorrow. Members of the Grand Bahama Youth Choir didn't perform as expected during the Independence celebrations at Clifford Park in New Providence on Thursday evening. But choir members say it is no fault of their own that they never made it on stage. Parents and guardians of the youngsters are demanding a public apology from the organizers of the celebrations. Parents Troy Garvey and Jonathan Glinton are disappointed.
This is an insult. It's a grave insult on our youth here from Grand Bahama, and I speak, and I know I can speak for my child, and I can speak for the rest of the people from Grand Bahama whose children flew to Nassau that we demand this apology, and we demand it immediately. We are appalled, and we're not going to sit by idly and accept this type of behavior from them in Nassau.
It's disappointing to us to see what was done to the kids in Grand Bahama, because they could have very well performed at the ecumenical services here in Grand Bahama, but the taxpayers' money funded their trip to Nassau. When we had a communication with them, we found out that it was some sort of controversy, and it's an insult to our children to not being able to perform in Nassau. They're Bahamians just as well as anyone in Nassau.
Members of the Grand Bahama Youth Choir, Trey Garvey and Jareel Clinton, were looking forward to the performance. They say they hope the opportunity comes back around soon.
Every day we had practice for 2 weeks straight. We ran a camp from 8 to 5:30, and at 6 o'clock we had practice from 6 to 8. And we did this every day, hustling. Some of us didn't just hustle to get home at 8 o'clock in the night, just for this performance, and then they told us we can't sing. 9 band members were paid for to go over and to come back, and they told them they can't play. How could you tell that to the youths of our future?
It was a slap in the face to tell us that we couldn't sing. We wasted a lot of our parents' gas money coming picking us up late in the night, preparing for this performance for them to see us perform on a stage of such magnitude. But then they told us that we couldn't perform and they turned us away. Now, how is that supposed to make all the youths from Grand Bahama feel? How is that supposed to make our parents feel? But most importantly, how is that supposed to make us feel?
Artistic Director Kevin Tomlinson says the choir will travel to Florida this coming weekend, courtesy of the Miami Consulate Office, for several performances at Miami-Dade University. And it's time now for Ask the Doctor.
Hi, and welcome to Ask the Doctor. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt. Miss Missick from Nassau asks, a friend of mine is in the hospital in the United States. They say she has myasthenia gravis. I've never heard of this. What is it? Miss Missick, thank you for sending such an interesting question. Myasthenia gravis comes from the Greek and Latin words which means grave muscular weakness. It happens when your immune system attacks the nerves that control your muscles. It is characterized by weakness and rapid fatigue of any of the muscles under your voluntary control. There is no cure for myasthenia gravis, but treatment can help relieve symptoms and signs such as weakness of the arm or leg muscles, double vision, drooping eyelids, and difficulty with speech, chewing, swallowing, and breathing. Though myasthenia gravis can affect people of any age, it is more common in women younger than 40 and in men older than 60. Doctors use a variety of treatments alone or in combination to relieve symptoms of myasthenia gravis, including medications and a process of blood filtration similar to dialysis. If you have questions concerning your health, please post it at PHA Bahamas on Facebook or email askthedrbahamas@gmail.com. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Be sure to check out the first Sea Grape Homecoming Friday, July 31st through Sunday, August 2nd on the main road in Sea Grape, 8 Mile Rock. Don't go away, sports is up next with Ricardo Lightborn.
Everybody, and welcome to Sports and Ricardo Lightborn. Let's get right to it. There are many jewels in Abaco. One is on the east coast of the island, and what a jewel this baby is. The Abaco Club at Winding Bay is a hidden jewel on the east coast of Abaco. 7,000 yards from the gold tees and 5,395 from the red. The Abaco Club is now under management of Southworth Golf and is a jewel of Abaco, also being transformed. The plush fairways and pristine greens provide golfers with the ultimate challenge and quality play. Gregory Sherwood is the president of Southworth and says that the Abaco Club is a special one and the intent is to build on that.
Donald Steele and Tom McKenzie, the designers of this golf course, they've done a wonderful job. Again, the challenge for all types of players, from the back tee to the forward tee, you can enjoy it in and out day and day and get a different experience.
The scenic view of the golf course is breathtaking and gives the average and professional golfers a postcard to remember. Given the experience of playing great golf courses, Gregory says the potential is here at Abaco Club.
We're lucky. Let's face it, everywhere we go, all of our properties, we always take great pride in our golf course, not only the layout, but the conditioning and the way our guests and our members get treated.
November 6th and 7th is the Abaco Invitational. Members and visitors, you're in for a treat.
The golf course has been here for a while, and the tee to green layout is phenomenal. We just need to do some manicuring on the rough ends of it, and we're going to do some work in the bunkers, and after that, it doesn't need much, and then we're not going to touch it for the next 100 years.
Wow, what a place. Well, the 2015 Law Enforcement Torch Run final leg of Special Olympics World Summer Games was held today in the Capitol building in Sacramento, California. Superintendent of Police Loretta Mackey representing the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Loretta is on Team A when the run actually started earlier today from the baseball field. A distance of 1.2 miles. 10 special athletes, 96 law enforcement officers all gathered earlier today for the opening with Governor Brown and those dignitaries. The flame will be carried throughout more than 120 cities and towns and communities, and also across the state of California. Now, before the arriving to LA for the opening ceremonies is set for the Olympics World Summer Games at Saturday, July 25th in Los Angeles at the Memorial Coliseum, the venue for that opening. Superintendent Mackey will be there and representing the Bahamas as well at the Special Olympics, and the relationship with the law enforcement is a special one in terms of the torch run and also the special officers as well. As far as the guardian of the flame, it takes an essential role in such an event for those guys to have some fun. And Loretta is out there representing us and doing well. And the police reservists will meet tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, to ensure that everything else goes smooth. Right, Freddie? That's the way it is tonight.